Am I the a-hole for refusing to baby-proof the house and lock my cats outside during the Christmas party? Original story. So Christmas is coming and my workplace is brimming with lights and ideas of who should hold the Christmas party this year. Since it's a small company, one small house would be enough. I happen to have a pool in my backyard and just invested in a barbecue. They all asked me if I could hold the party this year, and I said yes with two conditions. First, this will be an adult-only party, and second, we will have barbecue with prawns and the other normal barbecue stuff. Meats are always welcome. Everyone agreed, and some just asked if I could cook the prawns separately since they are allergic. No problem. I am more than happy to assist with that to make sure no one would go to the hospital. One coworker just came back from maternity leave last week after 6 months, and she was very adamant to come to the party. She sent an email to all of us asking if she could bring her 3 children with her to the party. One reply with the old email stating my conditions to host. She was not happy to say the least. In the last few days, she has been talking to others, including the boss, and persuading them to talk to me, and they did. My boss asked me to be flexible because she just came back, so we should not cut her out like that. And she was there while we talked and asked me to baby-proof the house because her oldest child is suffering some type of illness that he cannot sit still. And also she is allergic to cats, so I should wipe the whole house off of cat hair and lock them outside until the party is done. According to her, if each of us pays some attention to the children, there would be no problem. The youngest will stay by her side. I straight up said no. I will not baby-proof the house, and I would never lock my cats outside for any reason. I told her and the boss that she should not join the party since there would be alcohol and a hot barbecue. Also, the pool would be dangerous to the children without supervision. I made it clear that I agreed to hold the party because everybody agreed with my terms. If anyone is unhappy with that, they are more than welcome to hold the party at their place. I will not complain. She stormed out of the boss's office with tears in her eyes. Some people told me to keep the office peaceful by just going along with her demands only for a few hours. I refused. I really don't care if anyone decided to not show up that day. If there were less people, then more alcohol for me, no biggie. Now my boss decided to reevaluate the situation and sent an email asking if anyone else volunteered to hold the party. I was not included in that email. I found out through a work friend. I did not say anything and ignored it. People have been replying by email to each other without me and no solution. Yesterday, she came in with her baby and tried to show me I don't like any type of kid, so I asked her to leave my table and continue to work. She took offense and left for the whole day. Her workload fell back on us since we all thought that she would come back, but as of right now, she comes and goes as she pleases because to her there would always be something with the babies. People are telling me to stop being an a-hole and just give her what she wants because being a mother of 3 is no small job and she deserves a break too. To be honest, I almost laughed out loud hearing that. Some people still insisted that I'm the a-hole in this situation, so am I the a-hole? Now for the comments before reading the update. I would speak to your boss and tell him to host or hire a venue and cancel having it at your place. It doesn't seem very productive to have a work event at your home, despite it being a small business, unless you're the boss, and even then there's a possibility of something happening or something going missing. This is so much unnecessary and unprofessional drama, all because the office is too cheap to find a space to rent. Work Christmas parties should always be in a third location, not in someone's home unless it's the business owners, so they can deal with the drama and invasion of personal space. I just can't imagine hosting all my colleagues at my home, no matter how small the office staff numbers are. Sharon from accounting is a judgy cow who's going to be saying no doubt everything is from AITA because that's what OP can afford on their salary. And Anthony from IT is going to take a huge dump worthy of the Guinness Book of World Records and stink out the place. And Lila is going to take home a little souvenir that wasn't offered. No, not to mention the stress of cleaning. It would probably needed to be deep cleaned so the kid doesn't have a reaction. The boss is the biggest a-hole because OP should never have been in this situation. Freaking cheapskate. The coworker is the next a-hole because not only does she expect OP to go through all this at their own expense, but everyone is expected to help babysit their kid. Now for the updates. Update 1. Today we received this message from her because many asked for feedback. I will just put a screenshot here. I am not asking for a verdict, just an update. The Am I the A-hole sub does not allow pictures, so I was about to post a screenshot, so I guess I will post the content of the email here. Names will be changed with XXX. I have not responded and don't have any intention to reply. Good Sunday to you. I think I should email you guys after church today to let you know about the current situation that we are all in. As you know, I've been asking to join the Christmas party, but some of you think it was a joke. I do want to come. I have been on leave for so long. Is it too much to ask for some free time to catch up with you guys? It is not very Christian of you to not help out a single mom. To avoid any further confusion, I will hold the company Christmas party at my house. It is not big and does not have a pool, but will be a great honor to have you all at my place for the party. You all know that I am the mom of 3 beautiful angels, XXX and so forth. I am not in a position to spend a lot of funds on a party. I am asking all of you to find love in your hearts to help us with cleaning up our house after the party. Also, bring your own dish to the party. We will all enjoy the variety of food from your country. We do have strict food guidelines to make sure my angels don't get bad experiences, so please, no seafood, no junk food. We all want something that stems from the loving hearts. For my kids, really love eggs, is good with steak. We'll just have my godly mother milk for now. And before you say anything, I do know someone is already up for host, but I do think it is very selfish of you to make it so hard for a single mom like me to attend. You don't know how hard it is to be a single mom after all. Before I last went into labor, I asked Lori to have a short praying time where you would pray to God for Sonny's health. And I knew some did not do that. I did not ask for much, just 10 short minutes, but some of you refused. I'm so disappointed by the lack of hospitality we single moms should receive. You know, my children will grow up and take care of all of you in the future. They will work and their tax money comes back to take care of you in the future. The younger generation are lacking the moral compass to have children, and that responsibility fell on us mothers. May God shine His love. Final update. This will be the last update because I quit today. My coworker came to work at noon because one of her children was sick. She also had the youngest with her. She started by changing the diaper right on her desk. The stench left us nauseous. Someone told her we had a bathroom with a changing stand. She ignored the person and proceeded with parading the child across the office while leaving a dirty diaper on her desk. I decided to tell her about it in case she did not notice. She told me again, a baby hater like me would not understand the joy of having babies and should not be fussy because it would be the closest for me to be near a baby. I told her about the diaper again and stated it was really hot and the air conditioner was on full blast. The smell spread through the office. It was just unbearable. We decided to move to the canteen outside. We can work remote as long as there is internet connection. When we came back about 2 hours later after receiving an email from her boss to go back to the office, she already cleaned up the mess, but of course her eyes were filled with tears. My boss was standing right next to her, patting her on the back. Boss started telling us she filed a formal complaint. She felt discriminated and humiliated because everyone treated her like a disease or something. No one said a word but me. I informed the boss about the incident that forced us to move out of the office. The boss was taken a bit back, but still said that we must understand the situation because, again, she is a single mom and it is hard for her, and instead of complaining, we should just help her with cleaning up. Everyone just looked at each other in confusion. I asked, why should we have to clean up after my colleague? Boss said this was a small company and people should treat each other like family. I lost my word. She cried again in the background with the baby yelling in the carriage. Some said sorry to her. I did not. I just tried to get back to work. It quieted down for like an hour. Then I received an email about the boss would like to talk to me. When I walked in, she was already there. She then told me that she would like to talk about the hostile working environment that I created since a few weeks ago because of the Christmas party I was about to host, discriminating against her and her children. I said everything was fine until she came back to work and she seemed to have a party where everyone had to follow her children to make sure that they were okay. Boss did not say a word. She asked me how could I talk about her angels with such a hateful tone, and finally told me that she was uninviting me from the party at her house and all. She also said that she would file a restraining order to keep me away from her children. I laughed so hard, telling her it was not the first time I told her to not bring children to the office. Boss proceeded with asking us to calm down and said no one approved the idea of going to her place, and my house was still the destination of the party. According to the email that I was not included, no one wanted her to hold the party. They acknowledged it was only a few weeks to the holiday and venues were simply not up for grab. Boss's house is like an hour drive and her mom has dementia, so her house is not a good fit. The mom lost it. She decided it was a good time to tell me to go to hell and told me someday she hoped the cats would eat my flesh because I would die alone in the house and no one would know. I told her that was not very Christian of her to wish death upon others. It was my bad since she unloaded a tirade of preaching words. I stood there trying to hold my laugh. But then the boss interfered. Boss said we will reconsider the location to hold the party. She walked out of the room, picked up her kid, and left. This is where I got the I quit part. Boss told me that she, the coworker, was having a hard time because her children were having problems. The first one could not sit still, the second one was diagnosed with autism, and bringing her to church did not solve the problem. And now the father of the third one was proven to be not the father also. Each of them has a different father. It was hilarious listening to my boss. I asked, what does that info got to do with me holding the party? Boss told me the coworker deserved more respect being a mom of special needs children, and that she did not want to let the colleague go despite the fact that she was there for half the day every day from when she came back. Boss was scared that the financial burden would add more to the coworker's stressful life and asked me again if I could rethink my decision to include her in the party. And there it was. I stood up, offered to shake her hand one last time, and said I'd quit. I did not wait, stepped outside, took my laptop and handed it to the IT guy, collected all my cat pics, and walked out. That was the best feeling. I knew full well that I would struggle until I find a new job, but I could not stand this BS anymore. I wish my coworker the best working with this lady, and no party would be held at my house. Now I'm sipping wine and typing this long post. Cheers and happy whatever holiday it is to all of you. Story 2. Would I be the a-hole if I told my daughter, 28 female, she is not allowed to live with us anymore? 2 years ago, my daughter moved back in with us, insisting that she had a mysterious disease called chronic fatigue syndrome. She has now been lying in bed for the last 2 years, only rarely venturing outside for doctor's appointments, during which she makes us use a wheelchair to transport her to and from the office. She fears that any exertion will make her worse and she will end up on a feeding tube. She makes my wife cater to her by bringing her food and water at least twice a day. It is my suspicion that my daughter's mental health history contributes to this disease she is so fixated on. She was diagnosed with BPD several years ago after a suicide attempt, and though she denies having it now, I have done my best to inform her medical team of that diagnosis, as well as her other past mental health disorders, including anorexia several years ago, which was so severe that she needed to be hospitalized. I love her and want what's best for her and think it benefits none of us to hide this history from her doctors. I think she has moved back in with us as a way to escape the stress and responsibilities of real life, and she is using this new diagnosis of CFS as an excuse. She'd never had a full-time job and seemed content to coast on part-time jobs after her graduation in 2019, and conveniently, the pandemic of 2020 interrupted her search for work. After this time, she never went back to work again, not even part-time. She claims she tried to find work in the year after the pandemic and before she became bedridden, but my daughter does not have the most trustworthy track record. See BPD diagnosis. She did apply and get into grad school, but in my opinion, this is still a step down from finding a full-time job in terms of the stages of life. She has thus far managed to manipulate both of her doctors, her GP, and her CFS specialist that she indeed has severe CFS caused by a COVID infection. She's done this with the help of a psychiatrist who also specializes in long COVID-related situations, and who seems to be easily manipulated himself and treats my wife and I as though we are the abusers. Of course, he would, given that he has consistently heard my daughter's side of the story. Even when we spoke to him in private with my daughter's consent, and I tried to get my point of view across and to be heard, he was adamant in painting me as the villain and did not seem to hear me at all. Before the psychiatrist spoke to the GP seemed ambivalent about whether my daughter's condition was physical or psychological. But now the GP insists, along with my daughter and the CFS specialist, that she does indeed have CFS. My daughter has manipulated other psychiatrists in the past as well. For example, making them believe that I'm the bad guy. On the practical side, my wife and I are in our late 60s, and we're not getting any stronger. I recently had back surgery, which is very painful, and it is quite the experience hearing my daughter wailing from upstairs for her food, while I have a gaping wound in my back, which I am prescribed opioids. My wife has bad knees, and it pains me to see her going up and down the stairs in order to wait on my daughter, whom I genuinely believe is perfectly capable of getting her own food and water herself, despite what she has told herself and convinced her doctors to tell her. She asked for me to bring up some water the other day when I told her that she is capable of getting it herself. She became very angry and called me an asshole, ironically. My daughter is nearly 30, and while I understand how comforting it may be to stay in the nest, she needs to learn to be self-sufficient so that she is not depending on her parents as we age into our 70s, 80s, 90s. So would I be the a-hole if I told her she needs to stop blaming everything on CFS, get back on her feet, and learn to support herself? Now for the advice. If she is bedridden and you can't provide the care, she should be eligible for Medicaid, whatever it's called in your state, and then placed in a nursing home covered by that program would be the next logical step. Also, if OP's daughter ends up reading this, or anyone similar to her, there is a state-run organization called Vocational Rehab or Workforce Solutions. They take people in mental and physical illnesses and either coach them into how to be productive into society, or they get them resources that they need if they physically cannot work. Depending on the individual situation, they can even help with schooling. OP, if you like your daughter even a little bit, direct her into this route. If they determine she is able to work with accommodations, they will help her with that. Even if they determine she cannot, they will give her the support that she needs, such as a disability income or whatever it may be. Came here to say this: VR has deep pockets. I work with individuals with disabilities, and I have seen VR fund a variety of things to help folks become self-sufficient and employable, including college tuition, laptop, vehicle mods for hand controls or wheelchair lift, etc. They also have tremendous job coaching and guidance, interview and resume prep, and they help you ask for accommodations from an employer. If the daughter is truly disabled to the point that she's unemployable, she needs to apply for Social Security, disability, and assisted living. I think folks are being a bit harsh with you. It sounds like you've been frustrated with this for quite a while. Definitely have her apply for disability and give her a heads up that she will need to move out. This sounds like a complicated situation. Story 3. Am I the a-hole for laughing at my friend's perfect plan for after their baby arrives? Hi all, so I already think I'm an a-hole and a bad friend for this, but wanted to take to Reddit to verify. I, 28 female, have a best friend, M, 28 female, who is pregnant with her first and possibly only child. M has a very rough pregnancy, and I've tried being there for as much as she wants or needs me to be. I've given her plenty of hand-me-down baby things that my child, 2 male, has grown out of or doesn't play with any longer. Recently, she's told me that her and her husband, 28 male, have come up with a perfect plan for after the baby arrives. She will take care of the baby for the time her husband is working third shift. He will relieve her when he gets home so that she can sleep, and then he'll wake her so he can get some shut-eye before getting back to work. I admit I laughed at this when she told me, not maliciously or mockingly. I just found it kind of funny. She asked me what was so funny, and I responded that my partner, 30 male, and I came up with some perfect plans, only for them to fall through once the baby was actually here. I told her that I slept when the baby slept. let my house go for a few months unless I had family over helping, and fantasized about some not so nice things regarding my partner while he slept peacefully while I was up with the baby. She got upset and responded that just because we couldn't work it out didn't mean that she and her partner couldn't. I told her that she was completely right, that while our plans had fallen through, it didn't mean that theirs would, but that she should consider a contingency just in case. She got mad and told me they could do it. I replied that I'm rooting for them. I have no doubt they'll be amazing parents. I have no doubt they'll be a great team. I just don't think that they should have perfect plans. Anyone with kids will tell you that babies absolutely ruin perfect plans, and it takes some time getting used to. Every parent has had to learn this, but just like the majority have told us before, until it's real, you have no idea what you're getting into, so go ahead and make your perfect plans and watch them go out the window 2 seconds later. So, am I the a-hole for laughing at her perfect plan? That's all for today. If you're enjoying this story, please like the video and share your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you.